Happy Monday, everybody. This is Leah, Ryan, and Loft Manager Richard from the Pioneer Racing Pigeon Club of Ontario here with your Monday night family show live where we talk anything and everything to do with pigeons, pigeon racing, pigeon health, pigeon keeping, you name it, we talk about it. The good, the bad, and the ugly. There we have Loft Manager Ryan and Loft Manager Richard. I'm going to check to make sure we're live on Facebook and YouTube. Send it over to you, Ryan. Go ahead.
Hey, good evening, everyone. I'm down in the United States of America. Nice little hotel here I'm at. So we're going to try this out. Hopefully our feed works well. Hopefully you guys can hear us good. We got to give a round of applause this evening for Loft Manager Richard getting the switchy going. He got that going good. He's got the earbuds in. So he's controlling his own destiny tonight on this show. Glad to be on. Welcome, everyone. YouTubers, Facebookers. This is going to be a big week towards the end of this week. We have something very, very special, but we're not going to talk about that yet. I just want to make sure Leah is fired up on the Facebook and YouTube.
Yep, we're live on Facebook and YouTube. Oh, has anybody say hello yet? No, nobody has said hello yet. So we'll wait until everybody says hello. But what do you want to talk about tonight, Ryan? Go ahead. Yes, Loft Manager Richard. Go ahead.
I just want to say hello.
Remember, you got to put your finger in the air when you want to talk tonight.
Okay, I just want to say hello to Ryan and hello to Leah. Leah, your guitar playing is incredible.
Yeah, you're getting better, Leah. It's a lot smoother. Those chords, not as muffly. Doing really, really well with that.
Is that Jimi Hendrix guitar that you bought there last weekend?
Yeah, 100%. Hello to Kevin Loft, James Timothy Walters, Dan Gregoric is in the house. Who else? Dominic Zarlenga. Hello. You guys know what to do. If you have pigeon-related questions, put them in the comments. Ryan, what did you guys want to talk about tonight?
Oh, lots of stuff. Actually, I had the other day I was down in Spring Hill, and I visited Gallo Loft, Manuel Rodriguez there, and it was real good after the show. We did some talking, and I got some pictures that I haven't shown anyone. Well, I showed Richard, but I got to bring him up on the show. I just didn't. I forgot to send them to you, Leah, on how his landing boards are and some of the small things we talked about. But I'll tell you, what a classy guy. The way he goes about helping flyers in that area that have been flying for like 5 or 10 years and not getting the results, and just with some of his techniques, getting top results for the guys. And we're not talking about winning one race, maybe winning a couple races, but being up in the champion bird points and the champion loft points and the champion average speed, helping out. I think it's just awesome. Every time I go there, I say to myself, this is one hell of a pigeon flyer that's in Spring Hill.
And by the way, guys, we will have a Gallo Lofts online auction happening at Feathersley PigeonAuctions.com starting on January 8th. So we look forward to that. Neil Gonzalez, hello. Nice to see you on. Ken Lavoie is in the house. Mike Green, hello. Yeah, it was a good visit with Manny. He's a good guy.
Yeah, great guy, great birds, great quality of pigeons there, and I love his confidence. Even when we were going through the original 10 birds before we got the 3 all-star pigeons, that blew me away. But you could see he wanted the ones that he's given us, the 10. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You could feel it in him. You could feel the energy. This one's going to breed good ones. He just has the feeling of it. And, fun little story. I was discussing with him about sending birds he was using Victoria Falls. Last year, I believe, going into the finals, I think he had the second best American bird, and he was in the top 10 overall going to the finals. And the bird that he sent flew in Chicago in the Windy City Open. so the bird already went out to 300 miles. Manny brought the bird home, took a look at it. The bird finished 29th in the Windy City race, and he sent it to Victoria Falls. And there you go again. The bird going into the final race there was the second best American bird, and he was, I think, eighth or 10th overall going into the finals.
Now, that's what I call breaking. That's incredible.
Yeah. You know what? That's willing to gamble and believe in your birds, right? And you don't see that. You see all these guys doing all these little things, or how old do I send the babies? How this, how that. If you have the confidence and you're willing to lose, the good ones break very, very easily. And that's what I like about this man, the confidence he has. A fun story. I hate to say it, but we were there, and there was another gentleman there with us as well. And his stock door got open, and he had 3 birds that got out. And 2 of them were from a guy just up the street that was flying his birds that he brought back to breed out of, and one was a stock bird. And it went out. He didn't get himself all worked up. Very calm. He says, "Oh, it'll come back. If it comes back, it comes back. If it doesn't, it doesn't." Just like that, very calm.
Yep, Loft Manager Richard.
Well, you're talking about Manny's loft there and his birds, but you could tell a story about how we went in partnerships with Manny putting birds in the Salem race. Was it Salem? Yeah. And we put a hen in there. Well, actually, we put about 4 or 5 birds, wasn't it, Ryan? What was it, 5 birds?
Yeah, we put a team in with them, and I'll just speed up the story, Richie. Sorry. Yeah, we put a team in. We did some winning with them. We picked them back up. That was right when COVID hit, so we couldn't ship them out to them. So we had kept them. And I told Richard, hey, put them all in one section. And I don't know what happened, but one of the good hen, the hen that won the most money for us, she got moved into the wrong section up in the Twisted Sister.
What
she was up
did
there
we win with that?
I don't know, a couple $1,000, $3 or $4 grand. Regardless of what we won, it was going into the final race. It finished after the final race. It was second average speed, and then whatever. But anyways, so the birds came home, and by accident, Richard put the good hen up in the Twisted Sister, and she was there all winter. Springtime rolled around, and Richard just went up and opened up the upstairs birds. A lot of old birds were up there, the birds that we had pre-raced. And that hen, all she did was look out the window from, I'm going to be honest, from January. We got the hen back from Rick Brewer in January. Took forever. We got it back in January, and she was out the first week of May. And I didn't even realize she got out. I didn't know she was in that section. Richard said to me, hey, I got a bird up here it's a different band. And I looked and said, oh, shit, that's the Gallo hen. And she was out flying, but just like that, smart pigeon, break very, very quick.
Yeah, all incredible. She faced only west out of that upper part, only faced west. But the Twisted Sister is so high up that she could see for miles.
Yep.
How's that?
It's an incredible story. Thanks for adding that to the end, Ricky.
I'm working at getting the comments up on the screen, but in the meantime, Neil Gonzalez, interesting how things can be done differently and still end up with great results. Gallo only using pellets for his breeders, and then AAA lofts just around the corner refusing to use any pellets, both producing results.
Yeah, well, again, it's reminder though, he uses pellets for breeding, right? He's not using pellets in race mode. And I think I think pellets are good. Pellets are good, I think, a percentage, but he swears by going the whole way with pellets. Yeah, I'm not going to complain. I think pellets are very easy for breeders to pump. But I don't know if I would go all pellets. But he likes doing, that's his thing. So if it works, it works.
If I could make a comment, please.
Sure, go ahead.
I think you asked Manny if what grits he uses. He said for the breeders he doesn't use grit, but he has them on pellets. So what I'm figuring is the pellets are very easy to digest. They break down, so you don't need the grit. But then I don't know if you asked him. Soon he weans the youngsters. He must put them right on grain,
Yeah,
right off
I believe he slowly weans them off of it.
onto
He
grain.
does. He gives them. He does give them some grit. He gives them a lot of vitamins, minerals. But again, like you're saying, I think he uses the pellets just for that protein, and it's very easy to
Digest.
pump, right?
Yeah.
Interesting.
The stories about pellets. I don't. I think I was reading in that veterinary magazine there, or book from Australia. That was that thick book, and he said never feed your birds chicken pellets. That's what he said. That's what he put in there. So now Manny feeds them chicken pellets. So I mean, I used to mix in about 10% of turkey layer pellets because I thought it had high protein, and it also had uh, vitamins in there that would help get rid of canker, coccidiosis. Um,
Yeah, but what's so amazing about this is the man writing the book, right,
yeah.
is different than the man flying. Okay, those guys have different opinions and different. And I'm not gonna say
Oh,
the
but
book's wrong or Manny's wrong. They're turning the law upside down, right?
this man here, he's a veterinarian, but he's also a racing pigeon man, and that's what he wrote. And it's like what else he wrote. I can't think of it now about vaccination. He said this man in the book here, he said you only vaccinate when the
Yeah.
youngsters are about a month old, and then you give them a booster, and then you don't vaccinate anymore. You don't need to vaccinate anymore. So, you know, I don't, this guy wrote a book. He's a pigeon veterinarian,
Well,
apparently.
hey, yeah, but you want me to tell you something? We all can write a book. Could you write a book? I could write a book. He's
No,
he's a
but
vet, and I'm not taking that away from him.
right, he's a pigeon racing pigeon man, and also a veterinarian, and his life has been to this. But I don't know. Then some guys say, well, they say, oh, give them a booster every year. This guy says do it once when they're youngsters. Then he said you can do it again when they're about 4 years old.
Well, there you go. So I know
Yeah,
Manny does that. He does the youngsters twice, and then he does them at about 4 years, whatever he's got there. But I mean, besides the point, a lot of different ways and how you bake the cake. So if you have it in your heart that you want to feed pellets, or you want to do this, or you can do it. It's what
yeah.
what you like to do. You can do. You know, that's what's great about the sport.
Hmm.
We have Aces High Loft Racing Pigeon says, what does Ricky Seven and Ryan think about the IC pellets in the Versalaga Black Label? I think that was the end of that comment.
What do I
Uh,
think of the pellets? Those race pellets. You know, uh, I don't know. I think it's all good. I think that's a lot of commercial stuff.
I
I'm not overly impressed on the feed. I think for the amount of money you spend, there's too much imperfection in the feed. Does that
mm,
make sense,
well,
Leah?
Sure.
I think this fellow's talking about the pellets. I think those pellets are made from the they're in business to save every penny they can save. Why throw out, the flour we see, let's say in corn, and the flour in
The
corn?
dust. Yep.
Yeah, dust.
Yep.
You say it's dust, but it's really flour. So when they
Right.
screen all that feed, and they polish it up. They put it through a screener, and then they're left with, let's say, a ton of dust. So they're going, what can I do with this dust really? Then they take it and they, like you say, Ryan, they manufacture it into these little pellets. That's right. And they,
Before
yeah,
we
and
before we continue, this is a disclaimer. These are our opinions only. Please do your own research, form your own opinions. These are our opinions only. Carry on.
Yeah, and exactly what we're saying. They took the dust and figured out how to sell it back to us and get it back into your pigeons.
Yeah.
Dust on the feed. Dust on the feed is not bad. It's when we say dust, we're speaking wrong. It's the flour on the feed, and we're not talking about scraping feed off the ground, picking up road dirt with it and stuff like that. We're talking about the dust that's in that bag from loading those bags, the chips and the crumble and from the seeds banging each other, it makes a flour, and that's very, very good.
The only thing is, it's good, but how do you get the birds to eat what's in the tray? 1 teaspoon that's left. Let's say, I buy the corn from my local farmer here, and then I got quite a bit of maybe corn dust, which is corn flour in that tray. The birds don't usually like to go and eat it. But now if we put that into a compound, what do you call it? We make these pellets that we figure a way to make it. Now your birds are going to eat it. But I find with that Versalaga feed, is when you first start feeding the birds, they've never had it before, and you have those little pellets in there, it takes a while before they start figuring out how to eat them. They don't really know what, they don't like to eat it, and then all of a sudden they start eating it, right?
Yeah.
So, and they digest very, very easily. Like, it just digests like soaks. As soon as they take a drink of water, it just explodes in there, digests real quick.
Speaking of Galalops, we have Manny in the house here now. We were just talking about you, Manny. Isn't that funny? Everybody give Manny from Galalops a big shout out and thank you for tuning in. Ken Lavoie says, let me get his comment up here. Ken Lavoie says, not all pellets are like that. Extruded pellets are baked and as hard as peas.
Yeah, but and this is a great question. An extruded pellet, and I think that's what the Versalaga ones were. I know the chicken pellets that Manny's feeding. I don't believe they're those. It's basically as soon as they go put them into your mouth, and it just turns into like bread. It softens right up. And I'm sure those extruded pellets, they're gonna break down a hell of a lot quicker than a piece of corn will. It has to. It's a pellet. No matter how hard it is.
Aces High Loft says, I used it in 2021. The pellets are the last thing they eat. If I overfeed them, and the rest of it didn't come through, but
they don't eat them. If he overfeeds, they don't eat them. And that's right. They're not a big fan of those pellets. And I think if you have feed that is dusty and you want to use I call it use the flour on the feed. A garlic oil, a cod liver oil, a hemp seed oil, a peanut oil to wetten the feed, and you shake it up in your bowl, all the dust sticks to it. And there you are. You're giving them the pellet without giving them the pellet.
Plus, you're giving them the hemp oil, or you say garlic oil. You're giving them that bonus.
Even if you just wet the feed with a bit of water, right? It's still going to stick. I'm saying if you're wetting it and then giving it to them, right? You're not wetting it now and then leaving it.
Okay.
But yeah.
Go ahead. What's next, Ryan?
Another interesting thing when we were talking. with Manny was how wind plays a big part there where they fly. Okay, and he's like literally says, I feel like we're going over the show, but when you see the birds a quarter mile over and the wind's blowing them that way, he says where he lives, he's out. He's out. It can't be done. And I said, well, he says it's not as bad in old birds, but he says young birds, it's almost impossible to correct them. He says the young birds, they're so fired up, they're so hopped up, they're so go, go, go. By the time they figure out they're a quarter mile or not even, you know what I'm saying? 500 yards too far to the east or 500 yards too far to the west, he's already beat. And they can be right up with the lead pack. Just interesting. And I asked him, I said, well, do you do anything different? Did you try a whole bunch of short tosses, 2-mile tosses, or this or that or this? And he said, I've tried everything. And he says, you can't get the young bird, you know what I mean, to be perfect. As you get further, it gets better. But in the short end, it's murder. So, and I know guys on our show here, they say that wind does not play a factor in racing pigeons. Wind's a big factor.
Oh, Loft Manager Richard just cut out. Hopefully he'll be able to rejoin. While we wait for him to rejoin, a question about Manny. What is his training like? Is he a, hard trainer? Is he a loft flyer? Because he's in that kind of concentrated area where there's pigeon flyers everywhere. Does he have to adjust his training accordingly? Did you get into that, or maybe we something we should ask him when we have him on in January?
Yeah, we can ask him that. From what I gathered, again, he likes to make sure the birds are loft flying and exercising very well. When he starts to flag them, he'll put the flag up. He watches them. Leah, when we first start flagging, the birds fly for 15, 20 minutes and they want to land. And you let them land, you let them sit for 15 or 20 minutes and you let him sit for 15, 20 minutes, then he gets them back up again. And he does that a few times, so they start to get used to the flagging, right? And then building the gears. So he does that, and then about a month before, he'll go every day, a month before the first race, maybe a month to 6 weeks. I'll say a month. That's what he said to me. He goes every day training, and, he's not afraid. First toss, 10 miles, get them going. He says when he feels that they're ready to go to the next step, he jumps them up. And he's got about, from what it sounds like to me, he's got about 4 or 5 points, 10 miles, 20 miles, 40 miles, 60 miles, and then he's got like his 100-mile spot, 75-mile spot, like that.
While Loft Manager Richard is adjusting his camera, just wanting to let him know that you got to turn the camera the other way because we can't see you. You had it right the first time. But in the meantime, while he adjusts his camera, you had a nice story about Manny and how he helped that fellow out, mentored that fellow, the fellow that was ready to quit. And I don't know if you want to share that story, Ryan, but
Yeah, he's done it with multiple guys there. Guys that were on the, Leah, I've flown pigeons for 10 years or 5 years or 3 years or 20 years, and I just can't win, right? I don't know. I'm not even getting close. I'm so far out of it. I'm finished with this, right?
Right.
And, I love the confidence in him. What does he say to me? Ryan, I love to race pigeons. I like to race pigeons here. I like to race pigeons up the street if I could. I like to, So he says to the gentleman, and I'm not going to mention names, he said to the gentleman, hey, you know what? Don't pack it in. You listen to me for a season and we work together as a team, right?
Right.
And you know what? The guy never won any races. Manny helped him out for a whole season. And he said, I didn't have to babysit him, but I stayed with him. We trained together. We talked together. I give him the tips, right?
Right.
Bing, bang, boom. Gallo was first champion loft. This guy was second. The guy won a couple races he'd never won before. And you could see that how good Manny felt about it, but you know how great that guy felt as well. You know, he saved the Pigeon man.
And I mean, Manny is a very, a very like a very competitive, I'm sure he had his hands full enough with his own birds because in order to get to that level, you're not sitting on the couch playing Nintendo. You're hustling, you're working, you're taking care of those pigeons, you're getting them in shape, you're doing the training. I mean, it's a full-time job. And he takes it seriously and he does very well at it. But the fact that he took time to help this fellow to keep him in the sport, whereas the guy would have quit. He would have just said, F it, I've had enough, I'm not winning, I'm not having fun, whatever. He took the time to save a pigeon flyer, and I think that that's highly commendable. More people need to do that. He didn't have to do
Yeah,
that.
yeah, that's 100%. 100%
You know,
in his own confidence to help somebody. And he could have easily, exactly like you said, Leah, oh, there's another Pigeon Man gone. That's one more I can beat every week easy. Very nice of him to help out. And he's done that with multiple people. Hey, I called him in a pinch a couple years ago and said, I got to put some birds in the Salem. Could you help me out? And you know what? We sent 5. I shipped him 3 back and he put us in the money. And you want to know what? He said to me, hey, Ryan, if you want to breed the birds for a year, I bred them because we had to keep it in COVID and send it back. Very nice, easy to work with, and he's very positive. That's what I love.
No, 100%. Dad,
you
did you want
know,
to say
if
something?
you don't mind me saying, I find when you help someone else, you're also learning yourself.
Well, sure.
And that, yeah, when you help someone else, you teach someone else, you give someone some advice, and you should make sure you're giving the right advice. You're also learning yourself. So, you know, I
All right.
know, I'll give you a story about a fella that he was out of pigeons for 25 years now,
Mhm.
and he's getting back into it. And
Mhm.
he told me that those years ago, he was only 16, 17 years old. Excuse me. And he was flying his birds in this club. They had about 15 members. And he said, I was always at the bottom. It was just, a young guy, new person at the bottom, at the bottom, at the bottom. And there was one fella, I don't want to mention his name, but he turned around, he said to the young fella, I'm going to give you a little advice. This is what you should do. Do this, do that. He said right away he won 3 club races. I believe as an old bird, as a yearling in his club, he won Long Lac. The 500-mile race with a yearling. I said to him, "That's incredible, like a yearling to do that kind of performance." And he said, "Yeah, but he gives credit to this fella that gave him a little bit of advice. Without this fella giving him that little bit of advice, he may have flown another 5 years right at the very bottom." So he gave the man some confidence, some advice, and which is good. And he wasn't worried about this young fella beating him. He
Well, and
wasn't
I know,
worried.
I think as somebody who's an older flyer, who's been in, not an older flyer as an age, but as a more experienced flyer, somebody who's been doing this for 40 plus years, etc., the frustrations when you're starting out. You know how frustrating it is to be trying everything and you're always at the bottom, or you have lots of losses, or you got sickness, or what it's like to have it gone through that and experienced it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And me going there and me sitting there and talking with him. I love his confidence. He gives me a very European feel. Not afraid to tell you anything. And I mean, I asked the question, Leah, do you write things down in a book? It's all feeling. You hear him say it, you know, and people, when you talk about reading between those lines, he says, when I throw my droppers, the pigeons have to look like I shot them out of a sky with a gun. So if your droppers aren't pulling them down like that, you know, and I'm a victim of it. They're not. I don't got them right.
Well,
It's
100%.
me
Something.
that doesn't have them right.
Right. Well, exactly. Troy Spencer says, let me get the comments up here. Troy Spencer, getting back to the pellets. I don't like to feed straight pellets, especially on wood floor, because the droppings can be loose, not like when feeding a mix. Hello to Mike Sheridan and Tracy. Sam is in the house. Troy says, I find some guys would give up rather than enjoy and watch their pigeons come home on race day. For me, I like to watch my pigeons come home on race day. And
Yeah.
Troy says, I remember when I started, I was at the bottom of the club. Then I started to work my way up to the top of the club in a few races over the years. You know, that's great, Troy. And maybe it happened quicker for you than for others, but you know, just try not to get discouraged.
Yeah. And again, I think I think for people, you know, buying pigeons and you can buy the pigeons and you can buy the best feed and you take a look at Manny's loft. It is not some of the lofts that you see down in Unit 10 with the automatic perches and the this and the that. You got to have a system. You got to be willing to put the work in, and you can't get discouraged, right?
Well,
And
that's right.
and yeah, and I think if you're going to listen to too many people, you're going to get in trouble as well.
You have to be selective who you listen to, I think.
Right? You know, yeah.
Well,
I hear guys talk. The one guy doesn't know anything about pigeons, and he's trying to tell the new guy what he thinks he knows about pigeons.
Yeah.
And I can see
well, that's not,
the new guy listening to him, and they're going back and forth. You can see them spinning their wheels, going, "You guys are on the complete off road." But I don't know.
And I think anybody who's been in this a while will probably tell you that books are great and researching things on the internet are great. But there are certain things that unfortunately you can't learn in a book or you can't learn on the internet. There's things that you just have to learn through trial and error and through experience.
that's a
And
hundred
and
percent.
and
You
you
know,
know, with Manny, I'm going to see sometime when he starts to work his young birds. I'm going to see if I can go down there, maybe for a day or so, a couple days, and just kind of watch him with the birds, see what he does for you guys. You guys can see. Uh, because I will say it is a very, very good trip. If you can't get to Europe, I would he would be probably the first guy on my list for hands-on pigeon. He's the guy.
Brian Mansker says most people overcomplicate things. I would probably agree with that.
Oh yeah, and it was the same thing talking to him about motivation. You know, and it's so simple. Like he says, you're motivating for what? When do the birds forget about the motivation? You know, 500 miles. You think at what point do they forget it? The 200-mile mark or the 300-mile mark? You know, you got to have them in the super condition. You know, and you got to have a super quality bird with a good system. It's not about motivating. If you motivate a nothing pigeon, you're going to still get nothing out of it.
And you know, Glenn Thornley, he has, let me put his comment up here. He says, sometimes when the club results aren't going your way, you need to remember the first birds that came to your loft, a mini race between loft mates. And I think that's a super idea.
I agree 100%. You know, for all the new guys, and even probably guys like Manny and ourselves, you're always looking for your first birds every week. The first race is at your house. That's race one. And then, you find your best birds in your own loft. Then you look into your club. Then you look into your combine or your federation. And it keeps expanding, right? So remember, if you're coming dead last in your club, you're still racing out of your own loft, and you got to find what birds are doing the best in your own loft, your most consistent birds.
I think you're 100% right. When, let's say you go to people in Europe who've been flying for 60 years, they keep a record of who's first in my loft on that race. Then they look at how did I do in the club, and so on, right?
You know,
That's doesn't matter. Guys have been flying for 50 years. They do the same thing. They sit and they wait for birds. All of a sudden they got a blue white flight. They go, son of a gun, that blue white flight's always my first bird, always my first bird. Oh, I went to the club. I was last in the club. But so let's, you kind of work it from your own loft. Let's say your own loft is classed as a house league loft. That's your own loft. And then you move to your club and say, oh, how did he do in the club? Oh, he did
yeah,
pretty good, or he was dead last. But in the house league, which is your loft, he's my first bird. First bird. So if you say you have 8 races and he's always your first bird and the rest of them are all 2 hours late, at the end of the year, what bird are you going to keep? That one.
you want to keep that one and start to move on, and then
That's
you
right.
gotta you have to be able to analyze too. And this is another thing: people that go out and buy pigeons, but they
Mm-hmm.
don't have time to put the proper work in. They build a beautiful loft, they buy nice pigeons, they put no work in.
That's
Unfortunately, you're
right. And
not going
not
to get a
only that,
you're not going to get a result.
I don't have a lot of volume on this here phone.
Well, I don't know. Turn it up, Dad. Go ahead. Did you want to say
Push
something?
the push
But
the
yeah,
ear the thing.
not only that, they build a beautiful loft, they buy books, they do all this stuff. They buy expensive birds and they think I'm going to do it now. It doesn't work that way because you can buy the most expensive hockey player
Yep.
and put him on your team, but if you're not the coach and you let him go like a stray, you're not going to be able to play the game.
No.
All right, we have a comment from Neil. Neil says the first few years are the most difficult for new fanciers. If they can get past 3 seasons, most likely will always have the pigeon passion. Clubs need to pay extra attention during this period and make these people feel welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
think
I
that's a good point.
I
I
I
c-
agree, and I wish the pigeon community would be more like that. And the problem is, and again, and I'll even say it: you try to help people out, new guys, and they're either asking everyone everything, or you give them honest advice and say, "Don't do that." I'm telling you, don't do it. And then I got to listen to the next week and bitch and whine and moan. I did it, and blah blah blah, and blah blah blah, and dee dee. And I think for guys trying to help young guys out, after a while, you do get a little bit
Frustrated?
like, I
Hmm.
told you 15 times, don't go to Gravenhurst. You're in Gravenhurst. You know what? Now you learned. You learned it the good way, right? You're going to go there again and they go like this. No. Next year, guess where they'll be? They'll try again.
I think I'm going to use a person's name.
Oh God,
Dave
maybe.
Ottaway moved from here down east, and I guess very small club there, or they didn't even have a club. And Dave started up a club, and I think he got 10 or 11 people involved, and he helped the people. He helped school people, and
Yeah, that's
now the
awesome.
club is competitive.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
they're
I mean, they
Yeah,
they're
should,
beating
was it,
him.
did he get an award? He should have gotten an award for that because that takes a lot. We know what it is to organize and arrange things. It's a lot. And the fact that he went down there and he said it, helped them get things started, or I'm not 100% sure what the situation was before he got down there. Maybe they did have a club. I don't know. Don't come for me. But anyways, he did help out down there. And he got a trailer. Remember, you went down and took in
Yeah,
the trailer? I mean, it's really
yeah.
again, I mean, he
You
should
know,
have gotten an award for that.
hey, you want to know what? Whatever combine or whatever federation he's with, right? He should have gotten an award for that because not only did he create it or work with the guys there weren't very good. And I seen this year, Leo, we seen it. Dave was getting it handed to him a little bit,
A little bit, yeah.
getting his butt beat. And you know what? That's a testament of Dave giving some knowledge to the people and helping them out.
But
And you know what? Now Dave's got to pick up his socks and beat them.
he may have got beaten in the races, but he won all day long. He's the true winner in this because he's the one that put it together and gave them the tools and helped them
Yeah, yeah.
to get to that point where they're beating him. And again, that's a testament to Dave, really, in my opinion.
uh, a true sportsman to help out and go beyond and take a bunch of new guys and get them together and organize it and get the new guys. I know the first couple of years he hammered them and they came back around and the new guys now are starting to do some winning. That's great to see. Congratulations to Dave Ottaway for doing that. I know he didn't get an award from his union or whatever. I think, a good congratulations. Guys, give Dave a congratulations for that. Type him a congratulations.
How about we do the big? We could give him a round of applause. There we go.
There you
Oh,
go.
and there he is. He's on here now. He says it was successful in my eyes. Thanks for the kind words. Absolutely successful. It's a success in my eyes, and Ryan's eyes, and Loft Manager Richard's eyes, and I'm sure in all of the Flyers in your area's eyes as well. I mean, let's take Nick Fan for example. Was Dave Ottaway not the fellow who got Nick Fan involved into the sport of pigeon racing just by chance at the airport? I mean, that's this. We need more Dave Ottaways in this country.
Well, sure. Think
Yeah.
about it. If every club split up, okay, and each guy, had to make their own club, like what Dave did, find new members and start all over. How big would the sport get?
Well,
Look
I
at
know
us
my,
here at Pioneer.
listen, man, listen, exactly. I was just gonna say, I know how difficult and frustrating and hard it is to try and start something like this. Um, so I know
Yeah.
full well it's not easy.
But if I can say, I'll say something that for the years that I've had birds, and when people come and speak with, we speak together, and I make a few statements. They're always, I should say, listening and absorbing. They're saying, that's a good point. I never thought of that.
Right.
Oh, I mean, this I think would be a good idea for you to do. Oh, I never thought of that. I never thought of that. For example, a guy bought two pair of birds at the auction, and he's put them in one section. And I thought of it when he came pick them up. I didn't, I wasn't thinking or whatever. Then after I called him up and I said, if you put those two pair in that one section, that's 4 by 6 feet tall, with some boxes, there's going to be one of those two cocks is going to be the dominator. He is going to dominate that floor, and he will not let that other cock do what he wants to do, with his hand. We'll stop him from eating, stop him from drinking. And that's when you put two pair in a section. I said, you got to have one more pair in there at least. Otherwise, you're going to have a problem, which is the truth. And it came to my mind, and I called him up and told him. Otherwise, it's not going to be successful. Your young ones, your eggs, fertilization, it's not going to be successful. So I'm saying little points that I had in my mind. This fella didn't have that at all in his mind. So now he learned a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's
Yeah.
100% right. And talking about aggressive, Ryan, what was the question? What were we talking about with Gallo? Neil had the question about aggressive pigeons and what the thoughts are in aggressive pigeons, I think in breeding and aggressive pigeons in racing. What was the question again? But I'd be
He said,
interested to find out what Dad's thoughts are on that.
okay, well, in racing, he likes the pigeons calm. He thinks the calmer they are, the better they rest, the more focused the pigeons are. He says when they go to the breeding loft, he finds his birds are very aggressive. He likes that.
Sorry,
He
we're on
breeds
cam. Just
all.
excuse me. You're on camera, Dad. I'm just letting you know that you're on camera. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
You're
Carry on.
you're on camera. Don't
But
fall
I
off
only
the
seen
chair.
about half the screen.
Yeah. Well,
You don't
we
have to
don't.
worry about it. I can see your whole head.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You're on
Good.
camera. Go
Good.
ahead.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Ryan. Sorry about that.
I can't remember what I was saying,
I
but
know. Sorry. Aggressive birds. Aggressive birds in breeding and aggressive birds in racing.
yeah, he doesn't use the motivation really for racing, so he wants the birds as calm can be. And breeding, he says his birds are very dominating. He likes to see that, sure. I think it's his own personal preference. He knows what he's looking for. He knows what he's looking for in his family. And you see in his pedigrees, Leah, it's basically a lot of his family of pigeons.
Yeah, I'm saying though your opinions, not Gallo. I know what Gallo said. I'm talking about what do you think? What does Richard think about aggressive pigeons in the loft?
I like them, sure. I like to see. I like to see. I don't want to see a deadbeat. I want to see a pigeon that stands out and catches my eye. Cooling on the drinker, moving around, looking good. You're looking sharp. Fight a little bit on the floor, or you even go into a nest box, put your hand into the hen, and the hen whacks you, the cock whacks you. They don't bust out of the box and fly away from you. They're content. That's other signs of aggression, right?
Right.
But you got to watch. You got to look for it. Those who just go in and dump feed and run away, you don't see it.
Well, different strains are sometimes a little more aggressive than in others. Like I know the Van Riet cocks, they'll literally die standing up. That's how strong they are. They've got that fight. They'll just grab a bird by the cheek and just drag them across the floor, and that's part of the breeding. It's in them because they flew so many years on a widowhood system that they look for that aggressiveness that uh, I don't I don't I don't stand back from anything. I'll fight right to the end, and I think Manny's birds that he's proven, uh, and he wins. Winning birds, they are out there to let's get going, and I'm going to win. I don't stand back from anything.
Right. And that's from,
And
again, having a good
yeah,
quality pigeon, good condition, good training, good, proper
yeah,
work. And that's when you'll see the super pigeons. They have all the little internal qualities of them come out. But you have to get that out of them too, right?
that's right. And that's like when you say, if I get a pigeon that 900 meters, 1,000 meters, 1,100 meters, even 1,200 meters, when those birds are flying, that kind of challenge, again, I'm sorry, but I'm going to use Dave Ottaway again. Down on his course, that course is very tough, and those birds are flying between 900 and 1,200 meters per minute. Those birds are working. They're hard working birds, and that's what you want to get. Birds that fly
Well,
1,800,
hold on.
2,000,
Yeah,
2,100.
wait. Yeah,
Tailwind,
but
forget it.
you got to understand something. Everywhere is different racing, right?
I understand that.
Right. So, and when Richard, you move to Florida and go fly, right? You ain't going to
Right.
see no 1,100. The tough you're going to see is 1,300, 1,200, 1,500, 1,600, 1,700. That's what you're going to see. But no matter what, they're all going and doing it together. You get what I'm saying? So you got to have the right birds. You got to have the right birds for that style of course as well. It's like, I would say to myself, if I was going down there, I'll go to
Right.
Manny's Loft right away and just knock on the door. Yeah, I want to fly your birds down here. I won't bring my own birds. I'm not going to even attempt it. Give me the horse for that, because that's a very particular course. But
If I
that's
could
me.
say something, I know there's people up in this area that have bought Manny's birds, and they've been very successful, and they highly brag about these birds.
Yeah, but he's a different style of pigeon man. He gets the job done, and he just kicks. He really kicks ass. He does. Like Tony Malucci said, you take him to Belgium and watch what he'll do. Leah, should we take him?
Sure.
Well,
Neil has a question. Can you talk about the bowl system and how eggs are incubated and babies raised and how the loft needs to be organized? And good evening to Henry Ratter, rhymes with ladder. Congratulations, Henry, on buying your band package and signing up for our old birds. Well done, well done. Okay, Neil's question. Talk about the bowl system.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna say anything that bull system. There's lots of ways to do it. The real trick is you got to have the cock paired to all those hens in your off season. I think it's the smartest thing. So, when breeding's over, you say, oh, I want to pair up this one cock to these 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 20 hens. Pair them up with each of the hens. He doesn't have to drop eggs, but make sure that they pair themselves first of all. Uh, that's the main thing. Make sure the cock enjoys the hens. He likes the hens. The hens like him. That's battle number 1 done. So if you pair up that cock to those hens, and he's with the hens 3-4 days, and you see they like each other, you see it's all going to roll, great. You separate your hens, and when doing the bowl system, again, it's like you're going to it depends on what you want to do. You want to put 4 hens in a day, or a hen in the morning and a hen in the evening, a hen in the morning, a hen in the evening, until they drop their eggs. I think that's good. I think it's always good to have the hens in the section with the cock and have like a fogged glass in front of their box, so they can hear them. They can hear them talking and groaning and doing their thing. Or you can have them in baskets outside the section where the stud cock is. And again, with your stud cock, I'd have him in a section that's his, that he knows. I wouldn't try doing this 2 weeks before breeding. And again, for new people, you think you're going to bull a cock to 12 hens? First, try it with 2 hens. Then add 3 hens. You're doing 3 hens, then go to 5 hens. Learn, right? It's a little bit of you got to learn, and the cock bird has to be the cock to do it too. And the hen, everything has to work good, and you got to have enough switchers. The key here is the switchers. Without the switchers, you're done.
What's a switcher?
Like
a
a
pumper.
foster pair, a foster pair.
Like foster parent
So
or a
Yeah.
yeah,
foster
foster
feeder?
parents. Yeah. So
So you,
so for instance, I'm just saying with us, if we were gonna have a cock paired to a hen and we wanted to take the eggs away and give it to a foster pair, I'd put 2 dummy pairs together, 2 pumper pairs. That way I hit it for sure.
So before we get Loft Manager Richard's opinion, Troy says, in his opinion, the bowl system, you need lots of time for it. I don't think it's for a working man. Dad, what do you think? Have you done it?
well, I think Troy is right. If you want to put 10 or 20 hens bull to one cock, you're going to be you got to be busy doing that. You can't be out there working. But if you got a cock and you want to put them to 2 hens, and then you have 2 pair of pumpers, you get your pumpers ready. The same time you're going to bull this cock. As soon those hens lay, you just take the pumper eggs, throw them out, and put those eggs in with those pumpers, and away you go, right?
And and Richard, just to add to this,
Right,
when you start bulling the cock to those hens, give the
right.
cock with the hens about 5 days head start with your pumper pair. So let that cock start doing his thing for 5 days. Get the system going for 5 days ahead. Because
Right.
your natural pair of pumpers, they're what we call natural. There's romance. They're with each other all day. They go down much quicker.
Yeah.
So give yourself some leave, give yourself some time.
And if your pumpers aren't, let's say they don't lay right, the cock that you're bulling to the hen, she drops eggs, and your pump or drops 1 egg, and your pumpers haven't dropped yet. Just take the eggs from the pair the cock that you bulled, take them, put them in a cool, dark place, and moisten them once a day, roll them over, and then soon those pumpers are ready. The pumpers have dropped. You can take those eggs and then put them right in there. Keep them in a what do you call it? A cool, dark place, and you just take those eggs then and put them underneath, and that's it. I've had eggs sometimes in a can for a month, not trying to bull, but remember one time I said, "Oh, I'm going to use these eggs as pod eggs," and I put them in a can, Tim Hortons can, and I had 40 eggs in there. Just left them there for a month, and then I threw them underneath birds. All of a sudden, they started hatching. I couldn't believe it.
After a month?
So, yeah, it was a month.
Wow.
Some of them were in there for a month.
So would you say that
Now,
the Vol system is more of an advanced system of breeding? Like it's not maybe for your beginner. It's more like once you kind of got to get the knack of just breeding regular before you attempt something like that. Would you say? I mean, can you mess it up? Can you mess up your can you mess up your breeding season by attempting this and not knowing what you're doing? Or no?
If you're thinking on doing a bull system, the very best thing to do is try it in the off season. Try it in the off season, not with the key birds, just with your regular birds. Pick a pair, try it out, and see how it works when there's no pressure,
Right. Because
right?
usually when there is the pressure and you're trying something new, it doesn't work. So I think
No,
that's good sound advice to try it in the off season, see if you can get the knack for it. And if you can, okay, then attempt it in your breeding season.
and the other thing is look at what you're doing it with. Are the birds worth all that? You get what I'm saying?
Right.
If it's just a nice red checker cock, I'm gonna take 10 rounds out of him because he's beautiful. He won the show. I don't know. Make sure you're doing it for a reason.
Los Angeles Richard?
well, I'm saying you got, somebody, maybe they bought a couple pair of real nice birds. They bought them at the auction. The birds are super quality,
Right, we
way
get
more
that.
advanced than what they are. And I would say if you got a pair of pumpers, and just try it this way, put the pair together, your race birds, and put your pumpers together at the same time. Let them go down on eggs, both pair, and let that pair that your race birds, let them sit for about on those eggs for about 5 days to a week. Then take those eggs away from them, throw out the pumpers, put them in there, and then the other pair will go back down on eggs. So now, within let's say 10 days or so, you've got 2 pair of eggs out of that 1 pair that you liked.
Right, and you know the next round, let the regular pair, let them, or the pair you spent money on, let them raise their babies. Don't keep taking the eggs away because you burn the birds out. You discourage them. And again, all I can say is if you're going to do what Richard said, put the pumper pairs together about 5 days, 5 days after you put the good pairs together. Give the good pairs a 5 day head start because you're going to pull their eggs and just so you can switch them easy. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to get to Dominic Zarlenga has a comment here. To bowl a cock, you need individual pens, and the hens can only see the one cock. They can hear other cocks, but only see the one. I bowled a cock onto 3 hens and raised 18 fantails from him in one breeding season. You mate the bull to his own mate and then
Very
put
good.
a pair of hens in the pen beside him. The hens will mate up, then put the bullcock into the pen with the hens, and then it cut off. The comment cut off, but
Right.
that's the gist of it, yes?
Then he
Yeah.
put. Oh yeah. Then yeah. I seen that it cuts off there. Yeah. There's lots of ways to do it, and I don't think. You know, if you want to do a real bull system and you're going to try it, you say, okay, next year I want to do bull breeding. Try it in the off season, and figure out what works for you. Figure out what you're going to do, how it's going to work. Can you switch the eggs? How many birds can you do? That's what I'm thinking.
Your camera's buffering there, Ryan. I'm just letting you know that. So then Dominic finishes and says he will service the hens on his own, move the hen paired eggs to feeders, and start all over again. Give him access to the hens for a couple of hours.
Well,
Right.
you know what? You know what's kind of fun? I should ask Dominic when he's going to start bulling a pair or
Mm-hmm.
bulling what he does. And I know he's got the fantails, and we all like a little bit of fun, right?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Go down,
definitely.
we can go down. He's not far from us, and just take a look at his setup. Next week, I have a private small loft tour, but it's not a loft tour. It's individual breeding pens. You're going to see custom ones built. So tune in for that. You'll see what I think, what my opinion is of these. This is what I think will work real good. Maybe it's a bit overkill, but it's what I like. So
I
you'll take a
I
look at
think
these pens.
I think in individual breeding pens, you should allow the cocks to be able to see other cocks in other breeding pens, and it gives them an incentive to protect his hen, to tread his hen. If you have them in a section, in a breeding section where they don't see other pigeons, they get bored.
Well, yeah, and pigeons are competitive. They are, and a little bit of a little bit of that can, you know, landing on the floor in your own breeding section, and you look over and there's a cock beside you, and you look to the right, there's another cock beside you, and he's in his own pen. It stimulates, exactly like Richard's saying, it stimulates the birds to keep going. A little bit of that is very good.
Yeah, 100%. He thinks this is my section, this is my hen, and I'm going to please her, and I'm going to make sure that we have a good nest. And yeah, yeah. Oh, it's good.
Neil has a question. Do you recommend in winter breeding to remove the first egg, then return after the second egg is laid? This way, both youngsters should be the same size.
No, no. Dad, we never pull eggs. It could be -20 and the hen lays her first egg. We don't bother them. But the one thing I will say that Richard and myself do, when I see the hens are wanting to lay, you see their backs are humping up, or the cockbirds are driving the hens hard. You know, hey, the hen, the when you see the cocks really start to push the hens, you know she's coming in to lay. When you see the hens in the box there and they drop their eggs, just leave them alone. Don't bother them. Let them lay their egg. Leave it alone. Don't go in there and try and take the egg away, or don't go in there and say, "Oh, did she lay?" Just leave her be, especially with new hens, young hens. Let
Oh,
them lay and let them ground. It's good, much better.
you know what? If you're going to take the egg away, just put a pod egg in there. If you want to take the egg in the house, if you're worried that she's not going to cover them
Do,
properly.
do you do that? I'm asking you. Do you do it?
No, I don't.
Why not?
I just don't do it. If you know
Why?
what, if the hen's not going to cover those eggs properly, they don't usually the first egg. They don't cover them tight. They just stand over them, kind of. They just keep the chill off them, kind of. Uh, if they don't do that, I just take the hen take them right to the garden. You know.
That's right. You don't make an excuse, do you?
No, it's like
Oh.
you better do your job. If you can't do that job, what other job can you do? You know.
Dominic Zarlenga says Andy Lehman bowled a cockbird to 8 or 9 hens one time. He let the cock spend an hour with each hen and rotated him through the group, then moved the eggs to the feeders.
Right. And, and you got to remember that does sound great, Dominic. That's great. But if we sit down and talk with them, and Dominic knows this, I'm not teaching Dominic anything new. He had his system and he watched the cock. He had probably the cocks prepared to them first, so he knows it's a fit. It's a fit. The cock likes the hen. He maybe even had in the off season the cock drop eggs with the hen, so he knows it's a click click, and he knows the system and he knows the cockbird. You gotta you gotta know your pigeons and know what you're doing, and it'll work. Hey, you can do them every hour, every half hour, but it's exactly like Troy said. How many of us have that time to do it?
Well, that's right.
Yeah. You've got to I I think pre-mate those cocks to those hens. Um, so he knows, and this cock they become trained to basically you may have him mated to 15 women. It's like
Yeah,
15 girlfriends, and he knows, and the hens they know him, and he says this is number one girlfriend, number two
yeah,
girlfriend. They're all
we
those
get that.
girlfriends. So he soon those girlfriends come in. Those hens are happy to see him. He's
And,
happy to see them. He does his job. Take
and
the hen away. Uh, treads her around the fifth day. It's very important that she gets treaded again. And I always thought put her in a box with nesting material, and that when that time comes, she's going to lay.
yeah,
Like she's going to lay around the eighth,
and, and,
ninth, 10th day.
and
But
another,
bull hen,
another.
he has to have. He knows I got in this loft. I got 10, 15, 20 girlfriends. And soon those girlfriends come in. They're so happy. He knows them all. It's not like I got to get to know you. He knows them.
But the other thing you will know too, once this cock gets onto this system and he learns it, he becomes better at it, and he becomes more of a romancer, and he gets it.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of learning it and being patient. And remember, the first time you guys try this and you're going to ride this bike, you're probably going to not do so good.
Well, that's why you're recommending trying it in the off season if it's your first time. We
Yeah,
have,
yeah,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
We
No,
have a comment
go.
from Phil. The bull system to me means pairs, but the cock and the hen can't get together. You take the cock out, put the bull into the room, release the hen, and leave them for 20 minutes, and then lock the hen back into her own box. The only cock with a chance is the bull. Once she lays, then you let them sit and raise naturally. Hello to Owen Cleveley, and then we have a question from Style Shop on YouTube. Dad, what do you think about that?
Well, I think it was Phil that said that. He's 100% right. You that's right. You let him. He bulls the hen. Then you take her, put her in her own box, with nesting material, and all of a sudden, the time comes, she's going to lay the egg right in her nest bowl. That's it. Take the eggs away and put them to the pumpers. He's right. Don't take the hen and throw her in a section with other cocks and hens or other cocks or whatever. That's not the idea, right?
Right. Question from Style Shop over on YouTube. He says, "Hey Ryan, my question. I'm a new fancier living in Toronto. When does he start breeding his birds?"
Well, I think Ryan left the room for a minute,
Yeah,
but
I'm sure he'll be back.
I'm. Oh, there. I got the sound now is very good.
No, Ryan's back now. Did you hear that
Okay.
question, Ryan?
Go ahead. What was the question again?
The question was, my question is, I'm a new fancier living in Toronto. When should he start breeding his birds? What did we talk
Well,
about last week? Anytime from
the,
December till mid-February, right?
yeah, or even March.
Yeah, you
Depends. Whatever your feeling is. I like to put the birds. I'm going to put the birds together
for
the middle of February,
for
and that's it.
for new guys, for new pigeon guys in the Toronto area, any eggs that hatch by the first week of May, they can do all the races. All those babies can do the races. So just a little. That's kind of a
When would you
if
say
they
the
hatch
cutoff
by
is?
May the 7th, May the 7th, May the 10th, anything that hatches by that time, you can make the races and fly them pretty much the whole season.
Yeah. So you're talking, let's say the first week in May. That would be late for late hatching. So you're going to count back 18 days, then count 10 days for the pair to go down, right? So April 1st to April 10th, and then 18 days would be the 28th or 30th, let's say, of April, and the birds are going to hatch that first part of May. That's the latest group. I had a pair last year. I put together the 1st of March, and what was it, by the 1st of May, I had 4 rounds out of them, but I take the young ones away, 16 to 20 days old, no stress on the parents, and every single round they were strong, healthy as can be. So just saying, 1st of March to 1st of May, 4 rounds of young ones, healthy as can be. I like putting them together where you don't get like here we get that cold weather where it's freezing, really cold, and the parents, they start getting off the young ones around 12 days old, 10 days old, and you get fretting the feathers because of the cold. So I like to put them together so that we don't get that freezing. So let's say the water doesn't freeze at night,
Right.
Right.
Pretty good. Pretty simple. Hopefully that helped you.
Dominic says studies have shown that in open loft situations, we have about 20% of the youngsters are illegitimate. I found this study online from researchers in Europe. So hens and cocks, when bred in open lofts, are very promiscuous.
Hey,
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. And again, it's the dominating pigeons, right? You know that guy you see at the bar, Leah. How many times you see him? He goes over to a group of girls. He's talking to them. By the end, half hour later, he's over at another group of girls talking to them.
Yeah.
Half hour later, he's dancing with a girl from another group, and in an hour and a half, he's taking that other girl home from another group.
Yeah, I had to get out of the bars. I was just the same way. It wasn't good.
We know how you were, Ricky.
No, yeah, I think
They
Dominic's
used to
right.
call Ricky. Ricky was called Picket. Picket good.
There you go.
Okay.
I
No,
kind of believe
come
it.
on. No, I'm not going to say it. It's got to happen. It's got to happen more. It's how crazy do you want to get? You want to have all individual pens. You want to have, what do you want to do, and how far do you want to go?
Yeah,
And how much time do you have?
I've seen birds out in the fly pen, and the cock's ready to tread his own hen. The next thing, another cock comes over, pushes them right off, and he jumps
Crunch
on,
it.
and that's it. Gone. Boom.
Boom.
That's why I do DNA on all my birds.
Hey, Leah, this is why I'm saying I don't really think I'm related to LMR. I'm a far better flyer.
I don't really think I'm related to either one of you, so that's a mystery to me.
Okay, wait.
Anyway, moving on. What else did we want to talk about this evening? It's 20 to 10, so
I want to say one thing, that we've sold our 200th band for the Pioneer group.
Pioneer
but
One Loft. It's filling
Yeah,
up. It's filling up fast.
200th band, and we're only December the whatever 20th or something, 21st
20.
coming tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really,
So
really
this is
good.
going to be great.
Real good.
Yeah.
Super. Good job. Thanks to everybody who has already reserved purchase or bought your bands or bought your memberships. Thank you guys very much. Hopefully it's going to be a great season. Phil, you can still do DNA when there's a winner. Yes, you can. Sure. You can do DNA at any time. Can't you?
Well,
You can.
yeah.
It's like people, I'm assuming. You can do it
Sure.
whenever. Yeah.
Well, I do the DNA with my birds, and if I see, well, there's a pair and it doesn't match, I just look at them and I say, naughty, naughty, naughty.
Yeah. Rita, I don't understand what studies have shown this. Can you provide the literature, Dominic? Dominic, provide Rita the literature. I didn't read it, so maybe you could
Oh,
post a link in the
jeez.
comments
No.
or private message Rita separately, and I don't know where that information came from. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah. Yeah. If you talk to Gallo, right? I get back to him. He's got 50 individual breeding compartments. He's very, he don't look fancy, does he? When it comes down to the breeding, he wants to know that's something very important to him. He does it a certain way. So you got to think what you want to do. And remember, when you have birds in an open section, and they call it love pairing, even though you've paired them in their boxes, right? You've paired them up or you've done this, but they're in that open section. There's probably a 40% chance the odd one's going to get the wrong coupling. You take that, and sometimes we call those good luck babies.
So what I would do, if you do have, let's say, a swimming pool in your backyard, I would have that filled in, and I would put up breeding boxes all around the outside of that.
I don't know where
And
you even came up with a swimming pool. Are
well,
are
I'm
you
just
are you
saying,
with us?
saying people that don't have a yard that they can build another building. Just forget the pool, fill it in, put boxes all the way around it. They should be about 3.5 feet wide, let's say 4 or 5 feet tall by about 6 feet deep.
And,
And
and,
then
and I do believe with individual breeding boxes, if you want my opinion, let the birds to be able to fly up and down and 3 feet wide, like Richard said, 6 feet deep, 6 feet high. Let the
they
pigeons get some exercise. Let them have. They need
yeah,
that exercise to drop the eggs.
yeah, they need that. They like a little bit of an open box so they can, if they got to have a little crap, that they don't feel like they're crapping on their own nest. I know one fella, uh, he bought a real expensive pair of birds, and he put them in a hamster cage. Like, let's get real here.
And the pair was dead. The dead was after 8 weeks.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
It was
Like,
it was the saddest thing I ever heard.
you got to use common sense. And if you take a look at your barn plugs, uh, uh, street pigeons, wild pigeons, the cock goes and treads his hen on maybe a window ledge or the top of the barn. He's going to be up there by himself. He's going to tread his hen. There's no other cocks around him. That's it. but we got pigeon lofts and we got maybe 10 pair in a fly pen. So you're not giving him that privacy. The privacy they like to have. And, you know, so this is what we do. We get them in a loft, we compress them, and next thing you know, the cocks, jump in
Right.
another hen and whatever. But in the wild, they don't do that. They live on a window ledge, they live on a barn, they live somewhere private. He treads his hen. That not very often. I don't think those birds get treaded by odd cocks.
I always notice a lot of the time when a cock treads a hen, he normally gets off her and he goes. He'll leave. He'll fly 10 feet away. Clap, clap, clap. He claps his wings. He feels good. When you're building your individual pens, right? You gotta make sure the birds have room. Make them feel good. Those individual cocks, you got to give them the bath. You got to give them the grits, the minerals. Make sure the light's good. Don't use LED lights. Pigeons, it doesn't work. LED lights, it saves you in your hydro. It doesn't work. The old-fashioned light bulbs, daylight light bulbs or hydroponic bulbs that grow marijuana, that's what you want to use.
Neil is asking the Pioneer Old Bird Series, are there any other combines involved or are there any other combines releasing from these stations on the same date? Ryan?
Pioneers. I don't, the other ones are house league. I don't worry about the other ones. When I get there when it's time for our birds to go out on the Saturday, it's our time, it's our time. If other trailers are there and they let out, no big deal. Pioneer is elite, right? We're the best. If there's a house league trailer there, well, our birds are far better anyways.
Troy says, having 6 individual breeding boxes, it takes time to feed and water them. All I've done it in 2018 and 2019. My God, can you stop moving the camera and stop getting up? I'm sorry, but this is like, I don't understand. Between the two of you, I can't keep up with the
Because
camera angles.
well,
Go ahead, Ryan.
he's losing power. I told him he had to plug it in. That's okay. It happens, Leah. You have to unplug your headphones now, Richard. I told you about that. You got to watch. Follow the bouncing ball, son. But again, yeah.
Technical problems here.
Yeah, I've got you on mute.
Richard is technical, and you guys,
Okay.
Richard's technical, guys.
So I missed that part there. You were talking about liberating with other trailers.
Yeah, we're gonna be we don't liberate with anybody. We do our own thing. If we say we're in Matheson, it's Saturday morning, and we pick to go at 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 9 o'clock. That's when we go. If the other trailer is there and they let out, I'm not worried about it.
You always got to say one thing, is that the sky is free. The sun is free. The clouds are free. So it's free. So we welcome anyone to come. We don't own the sky. We don't own the clouds and the sun. So there you go. It's free. That's it.
That's it.
Free. You can't own the sun and the sky and the clouds. No one can own it.
No, I think he just
So
asked I think he just asked if arrangements had been made to liberate with any other clubs, combines, whatever. No, they have not, because we attempted that in the past and it didn't go well. So the Pioneers are just going to do their own thing. But as usual, we will have live releases live on Facebook and YouTube, documenting everything so you guys can see the weather conditions, the wind conditions when we release. So we will certainly continue to do that. Michael Peebler wants to know, is LMR having a show and tell? Did you pick anything to show and tell today, seeing as that's everybody's favorite part of the show? That?
No. I got a chicken that I bought from Super Center that's packaged here. It's beautiful. We're going to have that tomorrow.
That would be a hard.
No birds. Nope.
That would be a no.
No,
That's a hard no.
A hard no. Okay.
nothing
So what else?
tonight.
What else do we want to talk about? I guess I'll just let everybody know what our holiday hours are. I don't know if this is going to be in effect or not. These are my holiday hours. I don't know what Ryan and Richard are doing, but Christmas Eve we're open 9 till noon. Christmas Day we are closed. New Year's Eve 9 till noon, and New Year's Day closed. Just wanted to let you guys know that. Also on our website fipa.ca, if you guys missed the interview with Galalofts, Manny Rodriguez, we have it on our Feathers Elite Pigeon Auctions homepage. If you just scroll down a bit, you'll see it there. You just click on it, unmute it, and you can watch it directly from YouTube. A really great interview. We also have Manny's Loft Tour, Ryan, that you did, I don't know, 2 years ago now. We have that on our YouTube channel if anybody is interested in watching that.
Okay. Yeah, no, guys, go listen. If you can't get to Europe, go down Spring Hill, Brooksville. Go down and meet the man. Go down. I'm going to tell you, it's completely worth it. Think outside the box. Go and meet him. You're going to like it. And Leah, we're going to partner up with him this year for one or two one-off races. I got to go with him. I can't help it. Every time I go there, I get the goosebumps.
Now, if I can make a comment, do you mind?
Go ahead.
Yep.
I heard that in the past, Manny was a great rooster fighter. He had fighting roosters, and to have that, you got to have. There's certain things you have to do to be able to do that properly, and I think he took that into his pigeon flying, and that really helped him out. He said he started in, I think, 2003, and right off the bat, he was so competitive. It was unbelievable. And he learned a lot of that from those fighting roosters. You know,
the masters of the feed. It's again very close to the same type of hobby.
I know a fellow with fighting roosters, and he says he raises maybe 100 roosters, and he has them out in the yard, and he says he can tell right away. He watches how the rooster walks, how he moves in the yard. He knows right away which ones are going to be the ones that are going to do the job.
Well, that gets back to stock sense, and we're going to have to ask him about that. I think his show's going to be super busy. We might have to start his show at 7 because I think it's going to be quite a show.
Yeah.
The lots are fantastic, ladies and gentlemen. They are absolutely out of this world. They're all been hand selected. I can see Manny. He looked at them. You can see he wanted them. That's how the quality's super on these birds coming up here in the new year.
First
auction
of 2022. We are looking forward to it. Neil says, what does Neil say here? Hopefully the Pioneer can get a full trailer for the 3 Old Bird races. I think the stations are an excellent choice. Speaking of the Pioneer Old Bird Open, first Old Bird Open to happen in Canada. 20 bird team for $600. We're going to Matheson, 300 miles. We're going to Hearst, 400 miles, and we're going to Long Lac, 500 miles, June 18th, July 2nd, and July 16th. Lots of fun to be had there. Where can you guys reserve your teams? FeathersLeePigeonAuctions.com or FIPA.ca. Want to remind everybody of that. Anything else, Ryan?
No, I got to congratulate Henry Ratter, that rhymes with ladder. First guy to sign up. It takes the new guy to sign up first, doesn't it? Come on, kids. Get on the bus. Let's go. Let's see who can fly those pigeons. That's all I'm saying. This week on our Feathers League Pigeon Auctions page, Thursday is the day you want to be on our station for sure. Some big news happening. Tune in on Thursday, which is what, 22nd or 23rd?
23rd.
23rd. I'm going to see if I can get something magical to happen on the 22nd as well. I'm putting some things together with Leah. But a good show tonight.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
trying. I'm always trying something, Leah. I'm
Oh,
dancing, eh? I'm dancing.
I can't
Dance
wait.
monkey dance.
Dominica's Loft says every person that I know that had roosters can fly pigeons. Yeah, I'm not, to each his own. I'm not really into the whole rooster thing, but you guys
No,
talk
but
amongst yourselves.
so what I meant was guys fighting roosters. They learn something about strength in these roosters, and then if they turn around and go to fly pigeons, it automatically comes to them. And that's what I'm saying.
Well, sure.
It's
Yeah, and he has the stock sense as well. Again, I can feel it in him. If we got him into racehorses, I think he's got something in him. He's got it in him.
right.
Greyhound racing, whatever, potato sack racing. He's got the sense, right? He's got the feel. It's not out of a book. He does it. It's the feel, and that there, some of us never will have it.
Well, sure. Not all of us can be, rock stars or actresses. Some people have it and some people don't. Some people have the knack for things. Some things come easier to some than they do to others. And some people, does not matter how hard they try, they're just never going to get the knack for it. And that's just the way life works, right? But the main thing is, as long as you're having fun doing it, even if you suck at it, as long as you got a smile on your face and you're enjoying it and you're enjoying those pigeons and those pigeons are giving you what you're giving them, and it's that exchange and you're enjoying the process, that's all that matters. We're not all going to be superstars. We're not all going to be Olympiad winners or Hoosier winners or one loft race winners. The main thing is have fun at what you're doing. It shouldn't be a chore. It should
Yeah,
be fun. This is a hobby. That's my thoughts.
that's right. And remember, every time you put those birds in the basket and they come home, or they go to a race and they come home and they're the first bird to your loft, that pigeon, he knows he was the first one, and that you saw, hey, that's my first bird. That's an accomplishment.
And that's what
Some people can never even get the birds to come home. It's a
That's
win.
right. That's right. And that's what Glenn Thornley said. Start small, baby steps. Make it a competition within your loft. Then once you get good at that, then you move on to your club, your combine, your one loft, whatever. You got to start. You have to learn how to walk before you can run. Rita says, well, then that's a good sign for Tony. Rita, you got to give Tony a break. Tony's only been doing this a year. This is his second year. I already see in the past year, how Tony has advanced and he's learning and he's coming to the open houses and he's handling and
Yeah,
he's enjoying and he's asking the questions, and you can
yeah.
see it. He's got the thirst for knowledge, and he's getting that knowledge. And the great thing, Rita, and what Rita and Tony, you should, you know you're surrounded by some great people, and that is a great advantage that you and Tony have. You do have some great people around you that are going to give you solid advice. So you're already ahead of the game.
And
So
one thing I love about Tony, and I'm going to use Tony for this one. I'm using your name, Tony. I watched him come to the open houses last year, and I watched him go into the show cages to grab birds. He was a little bit too fast, and the birds get all like this. I watch a lot of guys. I watch high-end guys. They go in there like a raccoon. You go pick up the bird, you be calm. I said this to Tony. Tony's older than me, and I gave him this little tip. I said, when you go in, you be calm. You pick up the pigeon. The calmer you are, the better real feel you get of the pigeon. The pigeon gives you it's relaxed. I watched Tony come and handle auction birds week in and week out. And he goes through the line one way, goes through the line the other way. He waits a half hour and talks to guys. He has a drink. He goes through it again. And he's very calm. And he's looking at what he's looking at. And I'm right. And when I see him, I get a good feeling because he's doing it. He's taking his time. He's not in a rush. And the little tips I gave him, I could see him doing it. And if I could give Tony just one tip, it's not all in a book. Relax. Use your senses a bit. Use your gut feeling. It's okay. And we're going to make some mistakes, but just let it come to you. But you're doing real good, Tony.
I know one of the great flyers, Dean Pallett. He would say, "I think you should tell your friend to go buy another book." That
Not
means,
not
and
Tony. We're talking about somebody else.
Manny said the same thing. He doesn't do
Yeah,
anything out of a book.
right.
And do you not
Because
do you not
it's a feel.
it's a
Yeah,
feel.
and
And do you not think nowadays, because we have knowledge at our fingertips, like literally you can just go on Google anything and you get like 5 million hits that come up, or
yeah,
you can get books, or you can watch on YouTube, or you can talk to your club mates or your friends. Like it's just almost an overload of information sometimes. We need to bring it back to basics. I mean, how did they do it 50 years ago? Dad, when you started, you didn't have the internet. You couldn't go
no,
on YouTube and watch somebody from Europe doing something and then pick
no.
up on that. You learned as you went, right? And it was the feel. You pick up the feeling.
I know exactly what you're saying. Ryan, when he said he told Tony go in easy, but Ryan didn't notice. But I had a stick and I used to whack Tony across the
Yeah, right.
calves of his legs.
Yeah, right.
No,
So guys, don't get overwhelmed with all the
no,
information. We know sometimes it's information overload. Sometimes it's best to just dumb it down a little bit. Use your common sense.
yeah.
Remember, this is nature. These are living things in nature, Mother Nature. Think about how all that kind of stuff works. And I don't know. Don't overcomplicate it on yourselves. I think that's probably our biggest problem, right? There's information coming from everywhere, and you're like, you don't know what way to go.
I just gave you an example of reading books. Now, earlier I said about vaccinations, and this here vet with from Australia, he's a pigeon flying, he's a vet, and he said, "Don't feed chicken pellets. It's the worst thing you can do." He said, "Vaccinate when the young ones are only about a month old. Don't vaccinate again
Right.
for 4 years."
But
Now, what I'm saying,
we
that comes out of a book.
Right.
right. And Manny, he reverses that.
Well, that's
Right.
exactly
So
what I'm saying, and he has
and
success. But I'm going to
that's right.
say maybe because the man in Australia, he's highly educated veterinarian, but maybe he thinks he knows. I know people that sent birds, for example.
Can I ask you a question? Yeah, I
What?
know people that sent birds. They only fed the birds pellets, and the pigeons wouldn't eat the grain. I get that. Hold
I
on.
I
But you
know
know
that.
what I know? You
What?
know what I know? I don't. I know the vet wrote the book, right?
Right.
But I know at the end of the day that
Manny's gonna
Yellow
kick,
Loft.
Manny's gonna kick his butt.
No, Manny's going to be there at the end, no matter what.
This stupid fool.
And this is. It's okay, Richard. You're
It's
getting all
okay.
fired up. But what I'm saying is, there's so many ways to bake the cake, and remember, you don't write it in a book. You got to learn the feeling. I can't tell you. You can't read in a book what a super feeling pigeon is. You can't read it in a book. You have to feel it. And pigeons is about feeling. It's about looking and saying, that pair looks good together. They like each other. There's romance. They need more feed. They need more work. They need less work. It's all feeling. It's all those inches, all those bricks, and all those miles. And you don't get it? Rome was not built in a day. I don't even know if Rome's done being built yet.
It's always evolving, right? Like anything else, you're never done. You're always evolving, whether it's Rome or, you know, your career or you as a person or you as a pigeon flyer. You should always be evolving. You should never stay stagnant. That's my opinion. So Rita was saying that Tony had roosters. So here we gave him this whole speech about you're doing great, Tony. Keep it up. And she was saying because he had roosters as a child. Oh, sometimes I love reading messages and interpreting them completely the wrong way. James Timothy Walters
Oh,
also had roosters. Michael
Dad, be
Pimentel.
quiet for a second, please.
Yeah, I got him on mute, so I
Go
can't
ahead,
hear him.
Leah. Oh, oh.
Michael Pimentel's in the house. Hey, Pimmy, how are you doing? It's been a long time no see. Robert Hamilton,
Timmy, where's your
exactly.
band?
I think Robert Hamilton has summed it up perfectly and says, "Just do what works for you." That's all I can say. And I think honestly, that's what we say over and over again too, right? There's like Ryan says, there's many ways to bake a chocolate cake. You know, what tastes good to you might not taste good to me, and what works for you might not work for me. But you got to find your own groove, right? You got to find your own way sometimes
Yeah,
too. I think even if you totally replicate,
yeah,
I mean, haven't you done it before? Tried to replicate another, like, let's just take for instance
listen.
Mark Hodwell or Dean Pallett and their methods,
Yes,
and tried
yes,
to
yes, yes,
put
yes,
them into your own
yes,
system and didn't work, right?
yes. Well, the problem why it doesn't work is when someone says to you, feed an ounce of peas, they forget to tell you, and I'm just using that as an example, but look how hungry they are. If you think they need a bit more, if they leave things out, people leave always Leah baking a cake, add a pinch of salt.
Right.
It's the secret little, it's between the lines. You have to read. You have to read into it. And if you miss it, there's key things you miss and you wipe out. So I can never bake a cake like Gallo or Dean Pallett or Mark Codwell or the Jansen brothers. I've got to take their information and then I have to put the Ryan or the Leah or the James Timothy Walter, your own spin to it. And you have to play with it. And you're going to lose, but you have to play and you have to understand it. But you're not going to fly Gallo's system 100%.
All right.
Hello?
This is the best baking of
All right.
cakes. Yes, it is. Okay, you guys can hear me okay, right? We're good?
Yeah,
Okay.
we're good to go.
All right. Anything else before we wrap this broadcast up? You want to talk to?
No, I'm going to say this before. I'm going to say this. Tune in for sure on Thursday. Might be during the day here, guys. But we got something special lined up. And if I have something for Wednesday, we're going to make sure there's a post on it. The
Yeah.
Pioneer One Loft is going to sell out 233 prizes. We're only taking 450 birds. That means more than half of you are going to be winners. Who doesn't like a winner? We all want to be winners. We're going to get everybody pretty damn close. You
Yeah,
get
there we
8
go.
races with the R9, and we're not talking R9 right there. There it is. $1,500 get you 5 birds, or if you want to go singles, $350 a bird. You get the whole show, you get the whole package, and for a whole season, it's what did we say it was? 67 cents a pigeon per day. That's all it costs you to watch your birds, go the inches, go the bricks, go the miles, be part of it, be part of the revolution of pigeon racing in North America. This race, pound for pound, is the best one in North America and the world. Remember, Africa Pro, even they follow Daddy.
Yeah, I saw that. That was they're doing 10, I think it's a 10 race series or something that they're doing, but I saw that and chuckled a little bit, but that's pat ourselves on the back for that one. High five, Ryan. Woo. We
Hey,
got Africa on
so
board.
Leon, hey Leon, on that note, what I'm going to say to you all is Christmas is coming. The best Christmas gift you can get, fly in the Pioneer Club, participate in the Pioneer One Loft, promote the sport of pigeon flying, help out people, be kind and nice to people. And remember, in a pigeon flyer's vocabulary, you never use the word can't.
Definitely. Can't or no, it's not in the vocabulary. Just keep moving forward and then enjoy your pigeons. I guess, oh no, are we going to see everybody before the holidays? I guess we
Yes,
will,
we
right?
will. We
Okay.
will. We will.
So we'll
We're going
see
to be
y'all
on for
before.
a very special holiday treat.
We'll see you guys before the holidays. In case you miss us or whatnot, we want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas, a very safe and Merry Christmas. Enjoy your family. Take the time. You know, we only have this break a couple times a year, and Christmas is important, whether you're religious or you're not, or I don't even care. Get together with your family. Appreciate those around you because you just never know what may come. And, you know, just to take the time to enjoy it. We all work really hard. all year long, and I think we all deserve at least a couple days of the year to spend time with our families and enjoy like it used to be. So we wish you all a very Merry Christmas if we don't see you before then. We'll be back on Monday, next Monday night for another family show. We want to thank you guys so much for your input, your questions, your comments. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe our page. It really does help us, especially if you're over on YouTube. Give us a like, subscribe to our page because it does help us out. Want to wish you guys a very Merry Christmas. I'm going to sign off here from Keswick. Ryan, Lafayette, Richard, sign off.
Okay,
Ricky, you did good.
I want to say one thing. The main thing is tonight we had fun.
We had fun.
That's right.
That's right.
That's the main thing. We had fun.
We had fun. We had fun. We learned some stuff. You know what? We learned about pellets. We learned about vaccinating. Can you do it? Can't you do it? You guys figure out what you want to do. You see, there's one way, it's great. A veterinarian says, don't go this way. A super flyer says, go that way. You make your choices. You bake your cake. And guess what? You look in your mirror, see what you look like. I know I look good. Leah's fantastic. Loft Manager Richard,
Now,
turn the phone sideways, up, down, left, right. Richard, I'm wrapping it up. I got to wrap it up.
We learned about bowling. I want to say to Rita, just experiment.
There you go.
Lock Tony in the room.
We're not locking Tony in
Okay.
the room.
All right. Lock Tony up in a box. Lock him up in a box, and guess what? Have a drink on me. Inch by inch, brick by brick, mile by mile. I'm done with this one. You guys have been all great. Thanks for your support.
Okay, all I want to say is I used to say
I gotta go.
I hope
right.
your best bird. I hope your best bird hits a wire.
Good night.
There we
I'm
go.
done. Wrap
Good night,
it up,
everybody.
Richard.
Merry
Bye
Christmas.
for now.
Thank you.